I found that my second junior brother had difficulty even socializing on weekdays. He is actually the son of Wei Mayan in this world. The third junior brother who appears submissive on the surface. Secretly, he is a shady old fox. The fourth junior brother is the reincarnation of the ancient sword immortal. Even the little junior sister that master just accepted. Also the future nine-tailed fox. Empress of 10,000 demons, and in order to re-establish the majesty of senior brother, only plug-in awakening can be enabled. The most powerful away from keyboard system. As long as you lie still, you will fall into a hang-up state. You can definitely collect the true original address of practicing while hanging up, but the disadvantage is that you have to be motionless and can't do anything. At first you sneered at the system. Want to reach the top of the world with super talent. But now it really feels like an exhausting day of training. It's not as fast as the system hangs up for 10 minutes. At first you will comfort yourself. I'm not a sucker for the system. I just like to lie down with nothing to do. Don't show your cards now, you're just cheating. But as the hang-up time gradually lengthened, you gradually realize something was wrong. This system has a huge drawback. That is, you can only collect the infuriating value of hanging up, but can't upgrade. As a result, you are still at the 9th level of key training. The gap in your heart fell directly from the sky to the ground. Although the realm cannot be climbed, but your true energy is under the hard hang-up of the system. Raised to a terrifying number. Today, you just took your junior sister to the small mountain peak of Qingyan sect. Sniff the nose. The aroma of food is wafted out from the kitchen. You take your junior sister to the dining table and sit down. A simple-looking young man is holding a rice tray. Walked out. The boy smiles honestly when he sees you. Said senior brother, you are back. It happens that the meal has just been prepared. You took the rice plate with a smile and lived forever. The three-eyed chicken that I picked up from Lingshu Peak. Is it stewed? Stewed. Second senior brother is not. Are you at the critical moment of breakthrough? I dare not forget what you specifically told me. The young man replied repeatedly with a cautious expression. You saw him looking frightened. Don't care either. This is what this junior brother is like. No matter how many times I tell you, I can't change it. Then he looked at muddle-headed and said, that's our new junior sister. The confused master's vision is as good as ever. The young man looked at the confused picture and sighed. Even if the master is not here, his voice is still full of longing. If you hadn't been able to see the attributes of this junior brother panel, you will definitely think that he is an honest person. Good. The junior brother in front of me was reborn from the future. Probably because before rebirth, this junior brother died so tragically. This caused him to become extremely cautious after his rebirth. You suddenly reached out and pinched Chen Chongsheng's face and said, Junior brother, are you standing here now as a puppet? Chen Chongsheng's body is a general. Then he forced a smile and said, how is that possible? Big brother, why do I still use puppets in my home dojo? Hearing Chen Chongsheng say this, you know immediately, the Chen Chongsheng in front of me must be a puppet. It's because Naizi's persecution paranoia is more serious. When the dishes and chopsticks are set, Chen Chongsheng apologized. Then he left the small courtyard and returned to his room. Senior brother, this third senior brother seems a bit strange. There is no vitality in the body. And I've obviously seen his face. But now I forget what he looks like. Muddle-headed to whisper to you. Don't worry about this. You, senior fellow apprentice, are a bit strange. But good character. Muddle-headed to nodded in confusion. Just then another man came over. This is your fourth junior brother by Feiyu. He glanced at you and muddle-headed to and said doubtfully. Is second senior brother still in seclusion? Probably King Song has a new understanding of kendo. Have been in retreat for 3 days. You cut a chicken leg into the hututu bowl. Answered without looking up. Bai Feiyu was hungry. But he still looked towards the second senior brother's room. As an ancient swordsman, even if I have seen countless swordsman geniuses in my previous life, but I was still extremely shocked when I saw my second senior brother for the first time. Suddenly there was a sharp sword light, breaking through the roof of the second senior brother's room in an instant, soaring into the sky. This is the sword shadow. Bai Feiyu had a look of horror on his face. Even he is still polishing the sword and has not picked up the sword yet. That's the only sword cultivator who has reached the unsheathing stage. It is possible to understand the shadow of the sword, and at the moment when the sword light rushed out, Muzitu, already shivering, looking back at you, but I made a bowl of chicken soup and smashed the dregs. Then he shouted towards the second junior brother's room, Leng Kingsong. Your boy will fix the roof for me tomorrow. You've already flown onto the rooftop 3 times this month. With your roar. A young man walked out of the house holding a sword. He was surrounded by Sush's sword shadow. Just looking at it can make people feel intimidated. The young man looked at you, nodded and said a good word. He is your second junior brother Leng Kingsong. It's also the fire that gives you the most headache in the entire mountain. But he was raised by you yourself. When you were a child, then he met Leng Kingsong, who was an orphan. When seeing his panel properties, you decide to adopt this orphan. Establish a good relationship with the son you haven't met early. It's the basis for survival. So, 5-year-old you wander around with 3-year-old Leng Kingsong. Until I met your master Wan. Please, let your brother be my apprentice. Wan begged you sincerely. Taoist priest, what about me? 5-year-old you asked expectantly. I can ensure that you become a rich man. Wan patted. I promise you my breasts, but I also want to become an immortal. You refuse immediately. Compared to your brother, I think it's better for you to be a rich man. One spoke with some reluctance. If you don't accept your brother, I won't go either. The deserted pine behind. It's the first time I've spoken such a long sentence. In this way, you will be accepted as disciples by Wan. Officially embarked on the road to immortality. You have just come to your senses at this time. Leng Kingsong was already sitting at the table and wolfing down. And the confused little body has been shaken into chaff. The oppressive feeling given to him by Leng Kingsong was really too strong. It's as if the person in front of me can kill him easily. Grandpa, is the world so dangerous? Tutu, I'm afraid I won't be able to go back alive. Muddlehead whined loudly in his heart and said. And by Feiyu next to him. Then he looked at Leng Kingsong with solemn eyes. Just a teenager. It actually gave him such a great sense of oppression. It seems that we need to practice harder. Otherwise, the reincarnation of the ancient sword immortal, isn't it ridiculous? However, Leng Kingsong, who was doing the cooking, had no idea what the two of them were thinking. You glanced at the confused man who was still sifting through chaff. Comfort him softly, this is your second senior brother Leng Kingsong. Also my brother. Even though he looks fierce, he is actually surprisingly gentle. Confusingly, he forced a smile. Show that you know. After hearing your introduction, Leng Kingsong looked at Mumu in surprise. Spit out a word. What is the paste? The stew is just cooked. Eat yours quickly. You picked up the chicken leg and blocked Leng Kingsong's mouth. After dinner, several people returned to their own rooms with their own thoughts. Confused and relieved, I lay on my own bed. What happened today? Completely exceeded his psychological expectations. I remember my grandfather's sincere words before he was executed. You are an innate Taoist body. Others will definitely not be able to see your true identity. So you must not tell others about you. His identity, otherwise he would be in danger of death. Tutu couldn't tell even a few senior brothers. Mutu's delicate little face wrinkled up like a bitter melon. He has big things to do when he comes to Qingyan sect. But just here for one day, I feel the oppression from the human race. It's just that any small mountain peak has such a large number of talents. That Qingyan sect and even the entire human race, there is no way the demon clan can compete with it. For the future of the demon clan, tossing and turning, confused picture woke up early in the morning. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Leng Kingsong repairing the house on the roof. Confused to look at the second senior brother who looked like a murderous god yesterday. Very surprised. Did not expect he would actually listen to the words of his mediocre senior brother. Just when Muddleheaded was still surprised, Chen Chongsheng walked out of the kitchen. He smiled at Muddleheaded and said, Junior sister, the millet porridge was ready a while ago. You and I will bring out the porridge later. Okay, third senior brother. Confused, he shook his head and agreed, walking towards the kitchen. Although, Chen Chongsheng gave him the feeling that he was smiling but not smiling. But as my senior brother, I'm sure you won't be afraid for no reason. Chen Chongsheng looked at Muddleheaded. He said softly, please put away the dishes and chopsticks. Then take it out. He nodded confusedly, jumping around to clean up the dishes. Chen Chongsheng looked at his back. A strange light flashes in the eyes. The future nine-tailed fox and 10,000 demon empress. Now she has become my little junior sister. Did everything change after rebirth? No matter how. Never let the miserable fate of your previous life happen to myself again. Chen Changsheng's mind is frantically planning his future path. Wait until he comes to his senses. He smiled and said, I don't know if the senior brother has gotten up yet. Junior sister, let me tell you, on our little mountain, don't mess with anyone who is angry about getting out of bed. Senior brother heard what Chen Changsheng said. Confused and a little confused, I asked third senior brother. I don't have a problem with senior brother. I just want to ask, do you really think that the senior brother is the senior brother? Confused to think, an ordinary person who only has the 9th level of key training, among a group of geniuses like them, seems mediocre. Geniuses are proud. Whether it's Leng Qingfeng or Bai Feiyu. Is it still Chen Changsheng in front of me? How could you be so willingly surrender to a practice below ordinary people at the 9th level of key? Chen Changsheng naturally heard Hu Tutu's question. Put away your smile immediately. He said seriously that he is our senior brother. He is also the only senior brother, even if the senior brother wants to be a general among the elite. None of the three of us have any objections. Chen Changsheng just finished speaking. Suddenly the entire small mountain peak was illuminated by purple light. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered crazily towards the small mountain peak, turned into golden lotus flowers and fell on the small mountain peak. Chen Changsheng's eyes flashed and Zhou Shen Qingguang the great sage. Countless earthquakes outside the small mountain peak were instantly activated. A small mountain peak originally full of intentions became normal again in the eyes of outsiders. But Bai Feiyu in the yard and Zhou Shen saw that he was restrained. But it gives people the feeling of a sword hidden in a sheath. Everything around seems to have turned into a flying sword. Bai Feiyu whispered that all things are infinite. The originally clear sky suddenly turned black and yellow. The sound of the harp and the sound of the ribs. It's as if the whole world is celebrating Bai Feiyu. A brilliant golden elixir, jump out from the surging true source. In an instant, he reached the realm of Dan Dan. Deserted pine trees repairing roof. Intense fighting flashed in the eyes. Turned into a black stream of light and rushed towards Bai Feiyu. Ha ha ha, good time. Bai Feiyu laughed heartily. First time entering Jidan 7 perfect sword heart 1 journey. He now. A battle is needed to express the pride in my heart. 2 streams of light are there. Hundreds of collisions in the sky in an instant. The 2 of them did not use their suggestions to write sword moves. If they use the suggestion, the small mountain will be demolished by them. The confused picture below. Look at the amount of strong micro-pressure emitting in the sky. It's just the power of arrows emanating from sword fighting moves. It made his body stiff and unable to move. Confirmed in my mind in confusion. If he faced either of the 2, 1 move can chop off his foxtail. They are obviously all pill-cutting weapons just like me. How is this different from Tutu and my Jidan? Confused and shouting in my heart. Next to Chen Changsheng is the great sage Zhou Shen Qingguang. Struggling to support the great vibration around the small mountain peak. To be on the safe side, what I don't want to let happen to Zhao Feng. Seen by people on other mountains. But the current battle situation between the 2 of them, Chen Changsheng's hard work is no small matter. In terms of the big earthquakes around the mountain peaks, no less than a tsunami-like impact on coral. Stay steady and don't wave. You 2 bastards. Chen Changsheng cursed in his heart. 2 treacherous sons, just when he couldn't hold on any longer. Suddenly a curse rang out in your room. It's so early in the morning that I don't let anyone sleep. As your voice sounds. The vision on the small mountain peak stopped me. A wave of true energy rushes out of your room like a tsunami. Bai Feiyu and Leng Qingfeng are fighting fiercely. He was directly blown away by the true energy like a tsunami. Eyes red. Walked out of the house angrily. A pair of invisible hands. He directly pulled the 2 people who were flying away from the air. They are all quite capable. I just demolished the house and now I'm ready to demolish the mountain again. Deserted pine. I'm used to being scolded by my brother pointing at the flute. Just stand there and be spit on by you. And just entered Jidan's 7 sword hearts. Perfectly polished Bai Feiyu has a smile on his face. For your words go in the left ear and go out the right ear. Confused, to look at you with a shocked expression on your face while you were cursing. I didn't expect you to use your true energy to fly away too. Is this huge amount of true energy really only at the 9th level of key refining? Confused and plunged into deep self-doubt. He remembered again what Chen Changsheng said just now. If you want to be the head teacher of Qingyan sect. The three of them have no objection at all. Then you have no objection, I have no objection to Tudu either.